So today we're going to be talking about practice. Practice, okay? You can share this at any time. Like, share, subscribe so you can get notified. Uh, there's never a right or wrong answer. So feel free to release, feel free to vent anytime that you see me go live, anytime you see me post a podcast, okay? I make these podcasts, I make these live, especially for you, the people, okay? But we're going to talk about practice. Anytime that we have this discussion, uh, I pick these topics because it's heavy on my heart, and I feel like I need to expound on these subjects. I need to expound and to elaborate and give my personal opinion and my personal thoughts on these topics. Okay? So, when I'm talking about practice, a lot of people don't like to hear the word practice. Why? Because it's time. Okay? It's very time consuming and you have to put in effort. Right? It's not such thing as an easy practice. Practice requires a lot of energy and a lot of work, regardless and whatever it might be. Okay? If you want to be the best at something, if you want to be great at something, you have to put in time. Okay? You have to put in time. I was I was looking at a podcast last year, and I seen the podcast before, and it was Ed Sheeran podcast, I think. Well, Ed Sheeran was on a podcast, and that's a pop singer. If you're not familiar with him, but he was talking about the 10,000 hour rules. You have to put 10,000 hours into any profession that you want to be good at, and by that 10,000 hour, you probably are up to par with whatever you're trying to accomplish. Now, I'm not saying after 10,000 hours you have to stop. No, you have to keep going. Okay, but you want to put that time in. You want to put in. You want to put that time in. It's like clocking in for work. The more hours you put in, the bigger the reward. All right. So I was working at Campbell Soup probably about when was this? Probably about 11 years ago. About 11 years ago. I can say that 11 because I'm 37. I was longer than that. No. So I'll say about 11, 12 years ago, right? And there was a rule about you could work 21 days in a row and before you took a break. So all of us, especially all the young workers, we wanted to make sure that we took advantage of this time because you could get massive overtime, okay? W, appreciate it, Cole. So every day I would go to work, and at this time I didn't have a car, so I would get picked up by one of my friends, Fred. He would come and pick me up from my parents' house, and we would drive all the way to. Well, no, I did have a car, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to use my gas money, so I would basically tailgate with him and ride with him, or carpool with him to work, and we would do this for 21 days straight, right? We do this for 21 days straight, and we would make it to work. And once we made it to work, clock in, do the whole day. And after that 21 days, our paycheck every week would be massive. We get paid every week, but our paycheck would be massive. Why? Because we put the hours in. Now, it was hard. It was hard getting up every morning early because we would have to go early because Fred worked a different time and I worked a different time. So I would get there a little bit earlier, maybe like an hour, sometimes an hour and a half early before my shift actually started, and they would let me clock in. Guys, I'm making this analogy, right? I'm making this comparison so you can see exactly what I'm talking about as far as time. You got to put the time in, okay? If you want to be great, you want to be good at something, if you want the reward, like I wanted the reward for a bigger paycheck, I had to put the time in, okay? You have to put the time in. You have to be consistent, all right? The more you do it, the better you become. Now, you see all these athletes, you see these actors, actresses, you see people in politics, you see people in higher power, right? A large majority of these people put the time in, okay? They put the time in. That's the only way to become great. That's the only way to be the best. You have to put the time in. Are you willing to put the time in? Okay? Because the more time you put in, the better you will become. All right? And I always like to make the comparison and go back and talk about exercising and working out because that's what I do on a daily basis. Guys, when I first started working out, and I'm talking about years ago, like when I was a child, when I was a teenager, it was a little bit tough, but the more I started doing it, every day I started doing it, it became a little bit easier. Now, I'm not saying exercise is easy because it's not easy, because you have to muster up the determination, right? And the motivation to work out. But every day that I worked out, I felt like I'm obligated to work out, okay? And I do it. I just keep going and I keep going. It's the same thing when I'm barbering. It's the same thing when I do my music, when I'm making my beats. I have to put the time in, guys. It's the same thing with my podcasting. The same thing when I'm going live. I have to practice. Me going live every day, right? Me posting different podcasts every week. I'm practicing. I'm putting those hours in because when it's time to monetize, right? Because that's the reward at the end, okay? I will be satisfied. And not only will I be satisfied, I can do what I imagine in my head, okay? Now, there's a lot of rewards that I want to give my followers, my subscribers. There's a lot of rewards. There's a lot of great ideas that I have that I want to basically put into fruition. I want them to come true, but I have to put the time in. I have to put a little bit of time in every single day, whether it be 5 minutes, whether it be 10 minutes. Okay? Practice does make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Well, yeah. Anyway, practice makes perfect, okay? And no, nobody's perfect, but it's just the saying, just to let you know, the more time you put in, right, the better you're gonna become. The better you're gonna become. Let me take a sip of water, yo. Just know this, right? If you're willing to put that time in, if you're willing to put the time in to practice, hey, babe, can you turn that down a little bit? Just a little bit. Not no, the speaking. Yeah, because I can hear that. It's getting me off track a little bit. If you're willing to put that time in, right? And when I say the time, like it's sacrifice, all right? It's sacrifice. If you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of time every day just so you can reap the rewards at the end of the tunnel, guys, it's it's so worth it. We see it every day. Okay? We see it every day. Now, you never know a person's situation. Okay? But there are wealthy people out here. There's rich people out here. There's people who's inherited wealth. There's people who earned their wealth and they started from the bottom. Guys, you never know who you're going to run into, right? You never know who you're going to run into, and you never know a person's situation. And you cannot judge and base the success from another person and compare it to yours. Everybody has their own path, okay? But one thing I can tell you, and I know that I'm telling the truth about, consistency works, practice works, but how consistent are you willing to practice? How many times out the day are you willing to put in hours so you can become the best? All right? Because guys, it takes work. It takes work. I told my son yesterday, I always tell him this. He's in karate, right? And I told him this. I said, Philip, you got to put in work. If you want to be the best, you got to put in work. Now, you always ask me to watch TV. You always ask me, can I get on my computer and stuff? And if I didn't give you a time limit, you'll be on the computer, you'll be watching TV for hours. But you're only willing to put in 30 minutes for your karate. You're only willing to put in 20 minutes playing basketball. That time doesn't add up. The more time you put in on anything that you're trying to become great at, the best at, you have to put the time in. You have to practice. I mean, it's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Guys, it's going to suck. It's going to suck. I'm just going to be honest with you. You're not going to want to do this every single day. You're not. There's so many days, guys, that sometimes I just want to sit on my recliner and just chill. I just want to chill, but I've done that already. I've done that already. I'm tired of the situation that I'm in. And whenever you're really tired of the situation that you're in, you'll do something about it. So you have to go back to the old school ways and practice. Practice, practice. That's the only way, guys. It's no other way. The more practice you put in, the better you will become. Are you willing to practice? Are you willing to put those hours in so you can be successful? Are you? Are you? Ask yourself that question. Because a lot of us are not. If that was the case, right, it'd be a whole bunch of multi-millionaires and billionaires in the world. We're not just talking in the US, in the world, right? Now, some people situations are worse than others, you know, but are you willing to practice? Now, if you're in a country, if you're in a city and you have freedom, right? Because not everybody has freedom, all right? I feel like some people take this for granted, but if you have freedom of speech, if you have freedom to go wherever you need to go, you can research, you have the ability to use your time wisely, and you can come up with a business or work, find work, and do whatever you feel like it, right? Whatever you aspire to be. If you have that luxury, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. You have to put that work in. You have to put that time in every single day. Every single day. You got to practice. Put a little bit of work in. Put a little bit of practice in. And see how it goes. All right? Put a little bit of practice in and see how it goes. Guys, it's easier said than done. Because see, I can tell a person, hey, all you have to do is this. I can give you the whole recipe, right? And you see a lot of influencers, they tell us the same thing. All you have to do is be consistent. All you got to do is be consistent. You just got to post every day. But we don't really want to do that. We want instant results. And I bring it right back to the exercise and then right back to the training. I'm not working out for instant results. I'm working out for longevity. Okay? I'm not practicing for instant results. I'm practicing for longevity. Okay? And that's what you should be doing too. All right? If you're 5 years old, if you're 6 years old, if you're 7 years old, guys, your brain is not fully developed. Right now, while you're at the house with your parents, the next 10 years, if you're 7, that means in 10 years you're going to be 17. Put practice in, practice every day for 10 years. See how great you be. See how good you're going to be. You're going to be great. You're going to be phenomenal. If you can practice past the distractions, right? If you can keep focused, if you can do this on a daily basis, guys, you're going to be phenomenal. You're going to be amazing. All right? But you have to put the time in. So that's why I'd be so strict on my son, with my son when it comes to practice. Like he has the ability to learn so many different skills, especially while he's here at the house, before he has any major responsibilities, right? And you might be in the same position. You might be 7, you might be 10, you might be 11, you might be at your parents' house right now, right? And you don't have major responsibilities. Take this time now, right? And sharpen your sword, sharpen your skills, practice. Because whenever you out on your own, now is game time. And even in the game, you're still practicing, but you're out in the real realm. You're out in the real world. Okay, it's a different realm. Whenever you're inside, it's time to practice. You can mess up, nobody will see you. But anytime you step out those doors, guys, it's time to put that practice to use. Okay? It's time to show. All right? It's time to show. It's a lot of people that talk, but can you talk and back it up? And if that's something that you want to do, you gotta put that practice in. You have to practice. There's no shortcuts, there's no cheat codes. Hard work, hard practice, guys. Yeah, you gotta put the hours in. You gotta put the hours in. That's the only way you're gonna become successful. All right? You have to. You gotta get dirty. You're gonna have to get frustrated. You're gonna have to be tired of the situation that you're in. Once you become tired of the situation that you're in and you want better results, right? Oh, you're gonna be practicing every day. You're gonna be practicing every day. Okay? You're gonna be practicing every day. I wish I had this mindset when I was younger and I practiced a lot with certain things, but I wish I would have practiced and sharpened my skills more with more skills that I want to possess now. I wish I would have practiced way more. Okay? I wish I would have practiced way more. Guys, like I said, at any time of the podcast, feel free to leave a comment. There's no right or wrong answers. I do this for y'all. I do this for the people. So you can vent. So you can get anything and everything off your chest. Okay? I do this especially for you. But you have to practice. You got to practice. There's no right way to practice. There's no wrong way. Well, there is a wrong way to practice. The wrong way to practice is in just not doing anything. The wrong way to practice is literally just being lazy and just letting time pass by, right? Letting time pass by, you wasting time. You scrolling on your phone. You're not doing nothing. All right? Don't don't get distracted by all these distractions in the world. It's so easy to get distracted. It's so easy to get off focus. You only have 24 hours in a day and you have to use them wisely. If you sleep for 7, 8, 9 hours, guys, if you sleep for 10 hours, you only have 14 hours left, right? It takes about an hour and a half to get ready. Now you got 9 hours left. If you have a job, guys, you really don't have time to bullshit around. You don't. Excuse my language, but you don't. You gotta utilize your time wisely. You gotta put the hours in. All right? Because guess what? Whatever you're watching right now, whatever you're doing right now, and if it involves a screen, you're putting hours and time in watching what somebody else put hours in creating. Right? And they're reaping the benefits off of us. They're reaping the benefits off of you right now as we speak. All right. Now I'm here simply to motivate. And you don't have to watch me all the time, but I'm here to motivate you and to basically widen your perspective on life and certain topics, right? But you have to practice. You gotta practice, guys. It's no, it's no easy ways around it. It's no shortcuts, guys. If it was, I would have been told you. Gotta get dirty. Gotta get your fingers dirty. Gotta get your hands dirty. All right. Your feet are gonna hurt sometimes, right? You're gonna get frustrated. Why? Because you're not going to be able to accomplish what you're trying to practice instantly. It's going to take time. It's going to take time, but day after day, right? Day after day, time after time, it gets better. It gets way better, guys. One more story, and then I'm out. So, when I was in high school, well, two more stories. When I was in high school, I always wanted to learn how to make baked macaroni and cheese. And the reason why is because that's a dish. And if you're in a church, you already know that's like a popular black dish, African American dish that's made universal. Okay? And my mom, she didn't make baked macaroni and cheese. She made it her way. And I love the way my mom made macaroni and cheese, but I always wanted to learn how to make the baked macaroni and cheese. So my girlfriend at the time, when I was in high school, her mom was still living. Her mom is deceased now. Rest in peace to Miss Gwen. But she taught me how to make baked macaroni and cheese. Now she didn't even show me in person. She got on the phone with me and she instructed. Okay, so when I first made baked macaroni and cheese, it was alright. Okay, it was cool. It was alright. But I kept practicing. I kept practicing every chance that I got. All right, I kept practicing, and before you know it, like 20 times me making it, I started becoming really good at making baked macaroni and cheese. Okay, now 20 plus years later, guys, I'm I'm really good at making baked macaroni and cheese. Really good. I could make it with my eyes closed. All right? But it took practice. It took me messing up. The first time, it was all right. I was just hungry. I was ready to eat. Second time, it was a little bit better, but it wasn't that much better than the first time. All right? And what I'm saying, guys, the practice, me putting that work in, I became better and better and better and better at it. My second story, I always wanted to make fried chicken. Guys, just seeing fried chicken, going to KFC, different fast food restaurants, different restaurants, period. I just love fried chicken. And really, I was so addicted more, not just to the chicken, but to the skin. So I wanted to learn how to make fried chicken. So what did I do? I started going on YouTube and looking at videos because I wanted to make fried chicken. Right? When I first started making fried chicken, it was terrible. The chicken wasn't all the way done. The chicken was still bleeding in the inside. Guys, terrible. I kept making it. Literally, I kept making it. Not every week, but every time I made it, I became better. Okay? I became better. All right? The second time it was worse than the first time. It was more blood in the chicken. It was more blood in the chicken. The kids was like, Mr. Phillip, the chicken's still bleeding. I said, oh, my bad. You got to throw that away. All right? You got to throw that away. I had to become better. The only way I had to be, the only way I could become better if I practiced. So I kept making it. I kept making it. About 20 times in, 30 times in, I became excellent in making fried chicken. I started creating my own way because I wanted to make sure that the chicken was done. And before you know it, guys, I was good at making fried chicken. And now I can make fried chicken and macaroni and cheese really well. Okay? Really well. Guys, I just made that comparison because I wanted you to know that you have to practice. At first, it's not going to be easy. At first, you're going to be like, dang, man, what am I doing? I really want to give up. But if you keep at it, right? If you keep doing it, it's going to become better. It's going to become better. You have to put those hours in, guys. You have to make those mistakes. Those mistakes get you and prep you for life. Okay? It prep you for the future. It prepares you. Okay? So the more mistakes you do make along that way, especially when practicing, you're going to get better. You're going to become better, guys. All right? Like I say, there's no easy ways around it. You have to put that hard work in. Got to put that hard work in. Guys, it's Phillip Randolph. It's been 25 minutes and we've been talking about practice. Okay? Practice. Are you willing to put those hours in? Do you really want to become the best? All right? Guys, I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you coming into the live. Like I say, leave a comment, like, share, subscribe anytime you want to. Share this to anybody. Like, share, subscribe so you can be notified. And till the next podcast, well, not to the next podcast, to the next live. Stay blessed, stay motivated, and